Van Tuyl is a fabulously productive auto dealer that has, since its founding, used a traditional negotiated model with a particular successful emphasis on profitable add-on insurance and financial products. Meanwhile, at least some other auto dealers have adopted or are moving towards models which emphasize fixed prices, transparency, and low sales pressure. Will Van Tuyl eventually need to adapt to this new mode of selling, or do you feel the traditional method of selling cars will be viable for decades into the future? If the market requires a new way of selling, how hard is it for a sales culture that has been successful for decades doing business one way to change?
If a change is required, it'll be made. And I don't know the answers to which way it's going to go on that. It's true that people have been, and that's not new. That's been experimented with before, where people have tried a one-price system and no negotiating, no haggling, and everything. And I think a very large number of people would like to see that system, except when they actually get into it, it seems to break down for some reason. There's negotiation going on in a lot of businesses, and it always amazes me. People say they don't like it, but it's what ends up happening. And so Van Tuyl will adapt to what the customer wants. We'll see how some of these experiments go, and I don't think there'd be any problem at all if the world goes in that direction in Van Tuyl going to it. But I wouldn't be surprised if 5 or 10 years from now the system is pretty much the same. I wouldn't be totally surprised if it changes either, but I can't predict the outcome. I can predict that Van Tuyl and the subsequent auto dealerships we buy, I can predict that they will be a very important part of Berkshire, and I think will be quite profitable in relation to the capital we employ in the business. Charlie?
Well, I very much like that acquisition, partly because I think we can do a lot more like it.
You think you'll be negotiating on cars 10 years from now when you buy a new one?
It's been amazingly resistant to change for my whole lifetime.
Yeah, happens in the jewelry business too. I mean, there are certain items. Well, it happens in real estate. I mean, let's just say that some real estate firm said we're only going to take listings where you can't negotiate. Do you think? I'm not sure how it would do in terms of obtaining both listings and customers. People seem to want to negotiate. If they hear a house is priced at $200,000, they're not going, unless it's in some unusual situation, they're not going to step right up and pay the $200. They're going to bid. When people are dealing with a big ticket item, a lot of people, their natural tendency is to negotiate, and particularly will do so if they think that that's built into the system. So I'm not sure how it changes, but we'll do fine whatever direction it goes.